What's up, my know-it-alls? That's it. It's time for Chapter 7, the finale, the extra long finale, 60 minutes of the Book of Boba Fett. Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor. Man, I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm not even gonna sit here and bury the lead. This was probably the most epic episode. It's everything that we wanted it to be. So look forward to an amazing review here. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna give you a warning again. Don't forget, spoilers. If you don't like to know what happens, hold off. Go watch the episode, then come back. Oh wait. Assuming you've watched it now? Awesome. Okay, so the episode starts flat out. It starts very much with an awful lot of questions, but more importantly, we find ourselves over Mos Espa. That's right. And the burned out husk of the little bar that the Twi'lek had. And you see Fennec and Boba kind of surveying things. Mando shows up and they're all looking around and they're like, I don't know what we're going to do. We need to, we're going to have to go back and hold up in the palace. And that's when one of the Mos Espa Vespa group, one of the gang members of the Power Rangers, the girl who I love, can't remember her name right this second. I don't know if we've gotten her name at all. Anyway, she's amazing. And she's like, we can't abandon these people. So we're going to go help. And so they split their forces up. And that's when Bane shows up to specifically meet with the Pykes. Only to find out he's taking care of Freetown. Turns out the Pykes are the ones who are responsible for what happened to the Sand People. It's rough. It's rough. So the mayor's like, look, man, I just want all this to be done and handled. I didn't realize there was going to be all this violence, this explosions. I can't rule or run a town that doesn't exist anymore. And they're like, quit your crying. And then we get our title sequence, which is awesome. So then at the mechanic's place, Mando's mechanic, played by Amy Sedaris, an X-Wing shows up and she's immediately like, oh, it's the police, it's this and that, I'm sorry, I've registered for whatever. And the thing opens up, R2's there. So immediately I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna see Luke again. Even better, we literally get the answer to the question because it's Grogu. Come on, man. That adorable little guy. He's just, baby Yoda. And so he clearly he has chosen to go home to Dad. I could not be more moved. Now we come back to the group holding up inside the old casino bar thing, and they've kind of letting everybody know the Mos Espa Vespa group, the kids on the colorful bikes, they're watching the transport area. Bane shows back up. And he basically has a confrontation or a conversation. So I don't know if you're doing one of those little bingo cards, what are the things you can expect from Book of Boba Fett, but Bane being there to confront Boba, don't check it off yet. Not yet. So he has a conversation. The filming is amazing. Like Robert Rodriguez, who directed this episode, he does. Like, there's just one scene where Bane's talking, and you see, like, the dust in the air and the sun past his hat, and it's just like, ugh, it's wonderful. It's really good. Like, it's amazing filmmaking. He finally lets Boba know that the Pykes were the ones who are responsible for what happened to the Sand People. So at that point, the gang has to figure out what they're going to do, because clearly they suddenly find themselves under attack. The kids who are watching their area, the water district, workers district rather, they're under attack from the locals. You see Krrsantan is under attack from the guys he was supposed to be sitting there guarding. And then the two pig guards are they're under attack as well. So it turns out the whole thing so far has been an ambush. everybody's fighting as hard as they can, and literally the thing is rough. So Boba sends Fennec. He says, you need to go help just go help. How fast can you get there? So she's rushing off to go help, and she does eventually get to where the kids are at in the workers' district. She starts helping, defending them and whatnot. They look up, there she is, and she's bad, dude. She's a bad woman. She knows how to be a shadow when she wants to be. So, and then we get back to the Pykes who have approached Boba's position, and that's when our little Twi'lek guy raises his hand and is like, hey, I went to school in Coruscant. I know a little something about negotiation. Empower me to negotiate on your behalf, and we'll be good. So Boba says, okay, great. Come on, real quick. And he writes some things down in the guy's little pad. The guy goes out there and he's asked to read what's on the pad. It's basically Boba telling him, I'm going to give you nothing. Nothing at all. Get off my planet. Take your spice with you. Yeah. And so the Twi'lek's like, man, I just got bum rushed. The guy, talk about being thrown to the wolves or the fish. Anyways, next thing you know, out flies Boba and Mando, and they're just like in the air, just schooling fools. It's awesome. Very, very cool. And so but then they start getting overwhelmed because they're getting the numbers. So these guys are bad. They're shooting off leg rockets. They're all over the place doing what they're supposed to do, taking out fools. But there's just more numbers. So finally, the kids show up along with their rescue. That's right, the Freetowners. The Freetowners come flying in their little speeder guy, and they all unload out. And that's when the kids show up. And then next thing you know, somebody gets thrown, looking like Jazzy Jeff from the old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show. Just getting chucked out. And it's Krrsantan. Krrsantan made it. And at some point, Krrsantan throws a dude, and as he's throwing him, he whips his gun up and is like, and shoots it's amazing. So it looks like they're gonna win. The Pykes start pulling back, and next thing you know, they hear something, and Mando switches views on his visor, only to see something coming from down the street. It turns out it's these giant. I remember in the prequels, those big robot guys who spun into a ball. It's basically two of those, but they're not ball. They're I think it's like a scorpion thing or whatever. Anyway, and they have these massive guns, and they've got shields. So you're like, oh, okay. And so they start blowing things up, and everyone scatters, and Mando tries to use the Darksaber, and it's just this whole back and forth, and it's amazing. But the Darksaber can't penetrate the shield just quickly enough. Krrsantan's trying to do the same thing. So finally the kids show up. They help him because he gets injured. And then out of nowhere, here comes the mechanic lady, comes zipping around, and she's in one of those little, what looks like that seat covered thing with the little robot pulling it. We saw one almost get hit a couple episodes back. She's trying to tell him, hey, by the way, I got something of yours. And he real quick jumps on and he's like, go faster. And then that's when she says, hey, look who's here. And he sees Grogu. And he's like, what are you doing here? And next thing you know, Grogu jumps up into his arms, and it's the greatest moment ever. Yeah, and he was like, all right, well, okay, we'll figure it out. And then he notices, he puts him down, and he goes, hey, you got the shirt. It's like, right on, bro. I just can't. This is an amazing episode. And so they're fighting, they're shooting on this thing, and next thing you know, when it looks like it's its worst, you hear this massive roar. That's right. It's the sound of the Rancor. Because from around the edge of the buildings, you see, and then you see another one, and then up rises, if you had on your bingo card, Book of Boba Fett bingo card, Boba Fett rides the Rancor. If you picked it, hit the like button. Just saying. And sure enough, man, there's Boba mounted on the top of this thing. He doesn't have a saddle or anything, but he definitely has there's a setup because he's got some little stirrups and whatnot. But he's got a chain that's attached to the ring on the Rancor's nose, and he's just he's riding this thing. Dare I say, majestically? That's right. And sure enough, this thing hops down. I say hops, just like, and you have this mega kaiju robot match as this Rancor starts fighting and attacking and hitting these giant droid things. So then one of them kind of looks, and you suddenly notice its shield goes from blue all around to blue predominantly in front. So it has reinforced the front of its shields as the Rancor's like, just trying to get into it. Oh, it's amazing. So then what does Mando do? Takes the opportunity. He leaves Grogu here and he says, just hang on for me. And he ignites the Darksaber and he goes heading running toward the back of this thing. So meanwhile, the Rancor's just sitting here pushing hard on the thing. And so Mando slips through the back because there's enough pressure where he can actually make it. And then he ignites the Darksaber. And sure enough, he cuts the arm off and he starts whooping up on this thing. So just as the thing is about to start doing some stuff. So as that's all going down, you see Mando gets knocked down. He's on the ground. And all of a sudden, Grogu comes walking out, and he starts kind of doing his little force thing. He's got his little hand, and he's all like, and next thing you know, the joint off the knee of the robot comes shooting out, and he catches it, and the robot can't stand anymore. So now that's when Mando that's when the Rancor rips in, grabs him, and just boom, does this amazing. It's bro. It's epic. Epic. And he's like, it's so dope. It's so dope. It's like, chef's kiss. Nicely done, you guys. Yeah, so then, so everybody's fighting. And then at the other part where the kids and the Freetown folk have been sort of backed up to, she tells them flat out, we got to take our stand here. And they're like, what are you talking about? We're going to die. And she's like, no, I was raised around here. The only thing that way is a dead end where we're going to die. So this is our best bet for saving ourselves. We got to stand here. And so her and one of the Freetowners, they go up on the roof and they start taking aim and they start firing. And that's when the robots and everybody turns. The robot, rather, turns. And sure enough, you see Boba Fett comes around the thing and he comes jumping around the roof, and his Rancor and this robot, it is a epic kaiju fight. And as they're going, you see the mechanic lady, she sees the Twi'lek and she's like, come on, pretty face. And I'm like, he's like, well, it's happy to make your acquaintance. And she goes, we don't have time for that. I don't know, but it's great. And so then the Pykes are scattering, and the Rancor picks one up and chucks him. And it's awesome because you get the little Wilhelm scream. Then he has another one, and he picks it up, and he does so if you had Rancor eat someone on your Boba Fett bingo card, check it off, because the Rancor eats this dude. It's pretty awesome. And then out walks the guy with the biggest balls, and that's Cad Bane. Cad Bane walks out, and he's like, and of course, the Rancor tries to like attack him, and he unleashes a fire on him, and manages to shoot him enough or in a way that makes him knock Boba Fett off. And so then it takes off. So the Rancor is loose, and it's literally Boba and Cad Bane, and they are impressively facing one another. And Cad Bane, of course, shoots. Cad Bane's pretty quick, and he shoots and knocks Boba down. And then he basically warns him. He says, "Look, man." He rips his helmet off, and he says to him, "He's like, you gotta remember, I taught you better than this." Blah blah. And Boba takes the weapon that he created when he was with the Sand People, and he uses it to disarm and attack. And he's angry, and he just finally and stabs him. And that there is the end of Cad Bane. Or is it? I don't know. But it's like at the moment it looks like it's the end of him. So then the kids and the guys and everybody and the Freetowners are all they hear the Rancor, and they're like, they notice Boba's not on top of him. So they're like, the Rancor's loose, and they're trying to shoot. So the Mandalorian says, no, stop it. And so the Rancor climbs up this tower and does his best King Kong impression. So he's at the middle of the tower and he's ripping it apart. And then, of course, Mando shows up and he tries to jump up on him and the back of him. And that's when the Rancor reaches up, snatches him off the top of him and throws him away. And next thing you know, you see the Twi'lek and the mechanic are kind of backed away. And the Rancor's like, ah. It's amazing. It really is. And then Baby Yoda, Grogu, walks out. And he raises his hand, and he's like, and he's concentrating, and the Rancor slowly leans down toward him. And I'm thinking to myself, if they have him eat him, it's over. I'm just done. It's like, don't be trying to eat Baby Yoda. Anyway, but sure enough, Baby Yoda puts him to sleep. Rancor puts his head down, and Baby Yoda walks up and even pats him a couple times. And then he walks around, and then he kind of goes, whew, I'm tired. And he lays down and cuddles up right next to him. I never knew I wanted Baby Yoda and the Rancor cuddling. But I'll take it all day. Rancor's asleep and everything has successfully happened. And then we cut back to the Pykes in their hideout. And it's the three heads of the people that betrayed Boba Fett are all there, and they're like, what's going on? What are we gonna do? And dude's like, I don't know, but I'm leaving because I was assured this place would be a secure, safe place that was welcoming. This is not welcoming. And the mayor's like, oh no, it could totally be welcoming. And he's like, dude, half my forces were either killed or eaten by a Rancor. This is not welcoming. And then suffice to say, the two guards outside are killed. Everyone seems to be killed mysteriously, very quickly. The mayor is hung, and then out of nowhere, from the shadows, stands Fennec, having stabbed the head of the Pykes and effectively killed all of Boba Fett's enemies, assassinated them. And sure enough, from there, Boba and Fennec are walking town, and people are acknowledging them. They're like, what's going on? How's it going? Thank you. They bow. They're giving them fruit offerings and stuff. And so Black Krrsantan and the kids all show up, and it's funny. The kid makes a joke. He's like, why does the Wookiee get a meal but not us? Like, it's kind of like callback to the original Star Wars thing where everybody else got a medal but him. And then we get the shot that we all wanted, which is Mando leaving Tatooine, and in the little dome and back, sure enough, you see Grogu, and Grogu's tapping on the glass. And he's like, no. He's tapping on the glass. No. He taps on the glass again. No, I'm not doing it again. So finally the kid's like, he's like, okay, fine. And he pushes the little igniter button, and it's like, woo! And you see Baby Yoda Grogu's like, wah! It's awesome. And that's how the episode ends. Then we get, there is a post-credit scene, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. Not going to do it. Let's go watch it. Hopefully you get to see. There is hope for the future, and I can't wait for it. So I think it's going to be really good. I'm excited. I'm excited for what the series is going to do. I think season 2 is going to be good. Overall, I give this episode also a 10 out of 10. Now, these last 3 episodes have brought the curve up. I believe the entire series, all 7 episodes, that's the 4 backstory character building episodes and the last 3, which were both fan servicey but also really good, entertaining episodes, brings the series total. So again, episode 10 out of 10. Sorry, over here. Episodes 10 out of 10. Now, here's the entire series. Book of Boba Fett is getting, that's right, 9 out of 10. So, not too shabby. 9 out of 10. Again, the curve brought up by the last 3 episodes is pretty epic. And so, well worth the wait. But clearly now we know what was happening over those last 2 days, over those last 2 episodes, rather. It wasn't 2 days, 2 episodes. Boba Fett was learning how to ride the Rancor. I'm okay with that. So, yeah, man, that's about it. There you go. Now you know. And if knowing is half the battle, then you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. So, let's stick around, man. Let's keep watching stuff, and hopefully we get to see something a lot more fun very, very soon. I'd love to hear what you thought in the comments section, especially about, the final showdown between Boba Fett and Cad Bane. But overall, I really enjoyed this series. Star Wars is doing some amazing things, and we're definitely living in a golden age of entertainment right now, especially if you're a geek or have ever been one. So, yeah, man, like, subscribe, click a little bell icon to be notified when new content drops. We're going to be doing more comic book stories based on the Image Comics line for the 30th anniversary of Image Comics. I'm also working on some new Star Trek stuff because I know Picard and some other things are coming out soon, as well as Strange New World. So if you're a Star Trek fan, be on the lookout for some of that stuff. Follow me on the social medias. I love interacting. Got some new folks looking at me, and also looking for any opportunities to work with other YouTubers. If you're in the space, let me know. I'd love to try to do some things. I'm kind of getting a little dry in terms of working alone, so I'm looking to expand that out a little bit. I got a couple friends who are hopefully going to start getting some. We're going to get some cameras and some stuff working with them so that we can start doing more things. But all right, guys, I'll check you later. Thanks for watching, and of course, never forget, everyone loves know-it-all.